Jaya Gopijana Bhalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Shri Radha Madhava ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 7, the Killing of the Demon Trinivarta, Text 8 to 10. So I read first text number 8 and the translation. We read text number 9 together, and I read text number 10 and the translation. So text number 8. Tishtva Jasoda Pramukha Brajastriya Autanike Karmani Jashamagata Nanda Dajascha Bhuta Darshanan Kula Katam Swayam Vaishakatam Viparyagat. Translation: When Mother Yasoda and the other ladies who have assembled for the Uttama festival and all of the men headed by Nanda Maharaj saw the wonderful situation, they began to wonder how the handcart had collapsed by itself. They began to wander here and there, trying to find the cause, but were unable to do so. Text number 9. Uchur abashita matin Uchur abhyavashita matin Gopangopischa balaka Rudatanena padena Shiptan etan nasamsaya Uchur abhyabashita matin Gopangopischa balaka Rudatanena padena Shiptan etan nasamsaya Uchur abhyavasita matin Gopangopischa balaka Rudatanena padena Shiptam etam nasamsaya. Christian. Uchu said, Abhyavashita matin, who have lost all intelligence in the present situation. Gopam, the cowherd man, Gopicha, and to the ladies, Balakaha, the children, Rudata anena, as soon as a child cry, Padena, with one leg, Shiptan etat, this car was dashed apart and immediately fell dismantled. Nasamsaya, there is no doubt about it. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The assembled cowherd men and the ladies began to contemplate how this had happened. Is it the work of some demon or evil planet? They asked. At that time, the small children present asserted that the car has been kicked apart by the baby Krishna. As soon as the crying baby had kicked the car wheel, the car had collapsed. There was no doubt about it. Purport. We have heard people being haunted by ghosts. Having no gross material body, a ghost seeks shelter of a gross body to stay in and haunt. The Shakatashura was a ghost who had taken shelter of the hand car and was looking for the opportunity to do mischief to Krishna. When Krishna kicked the car with his small and very delicate legs, the ghost was immediately pushed down to the earth and his shelter dismantled, as already described. This was possible for Krishna because he has full potency, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 5.32. Anga nijasya shakalendriya vriti manti pashanti panti kalajanti chiram jaganti anandachi muja sadujala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Krishna's body is Sachit Ananda Vigraha or Ananda Chimaya Rasa Vigraha. That is, any of the parts of his Ananda Chimaya body can act for any other part. Such are the inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord does not need to acquire these potencies. He already has them. Thus, Krishna kicked his little leg and his whole purpose was fulfilled. Also, when the handcar broke, an ordinary child could have been injured in many ways, but because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he enjoyed the dismantling of the car and nothing injured him. Everything done by him is Ananda Chimaya Rasa, full transcendental bliss. Thus, Krishna factually enjoyed. The nearby children saw that actually Krishna has kicked the wheel of the car, and this was how the accident happened. By the arrangement of Yogamaya, all the gopis and gopas thought that the accident had taken place because of some bad planet or some ghost. But in fact, everything was done by Krishna and enjoyed by him. Those who enjoy the activities of Krishna are also on the platform of Ananda Chimaya Rasa. They are liberated from the material platform. When one develops the practice of hearing Krishna Katha, he is certainly transcendental to material existence, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sagunan Samatityaitam Brahma Pujaya Kalpate. Unless one is on the spiritual platform, one cannot enjoy the transcendental activities of Krishna. In other words, whoever engages in hearing the transcendental activities of Krishna is not on the material platform, but on the transcendental spiritual platform. Text number 10. Nate sada dhire gopa balabashitan ityuta apreme jan balam tasya balakasya nate bithu. Translation: the assembled gopis and gopas, unaware that Krishna is always unlimited, could not believe that baby Krishna has such inconceivable power. They could not believe the statement of the children, and therefore they neglected this statement as being childish talk. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Ummilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Ramapada Swami Tinamine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Satarine Vancha Kalpa Taruvyasha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Nanda Maharaj is already being informed. He was already informed by Vasudeva that there will be many disturbances in Gokula because of the demoniac king Kamsa. So he was already pretty much alert that bad things, could happen. And that was confirmed as he's coming back from Mathura after meeting with Vasudeva, and he saw the 12-mile witch body dead. And heard all the commotion that actually this witch has taken Krishna. But nothing happened to Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj recognized that Vasudeva was very enlightened, so he could see, he could understand. So he was pretty much aware or guard that, or alert, more better to say. So when this event happened, that baby Krishna was in danger, because he was under a car that all of a sudden on its own just exploded and collapsed. Now, the artist of the Bhaktivedanta art department, the devotees who painted, they painted this pastime, and they depicted the cards, in general, how you see the cards in the rural India, especially in Vrindavan. It was a hand card, so sometimes you see that there is a big bullet cards, and there's the hand cards that are taken by actually people. And you see it in the streets sometimes, and just like there's rickshawalas, then there's that they do with the bicycle. There's actually some of them that do it on feet, and they take people on feet, but they also take these hand cards. And they're quite, substantial, they're big. And sometimes you get surprised to see all these skinny guys, the strength that they have to actually carry the things, So they push it through the streets, and they move quite swiftly. Sometimes you see, when you get into those rickshaws with the skinny fellow just paddling, 2-3 people, and they do it. Somehow they do it. But the hand cars are quite substantial. And this hand car was, and they have big wheels, and the big wheels is what allows the thing to actually move swiftly. And it is explained that this hand car was filled with all kinds of things like pottery, copper and metal pots. So it was packed with all kinds of utensils. And obviously they're done very sturdy, because they have to, the roads in rural India, they're dirt roads. So, and stone roads. So they have to tuk, 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 tuk. So they have to be very sturdy. So the fact that this car just exploded, basically, just went boom, and everything went flying. Prabhupada's translator, hither and thither, flying all over the place, all these big utensils, and the wheel exploded, the car exploded. Now you can imagine that commotion that it caused. And the fact that a little baby, the little baby son of the queen and king of Vrindavan, was under this car in a little basket. Tiny baby with very delicate legs. So there was a big scare. But when they saw that the baby was perfectly happy and safe, they were immediately relieved, and then they tried to find an explanation. What happened? How this thing happened? So the only thing that can happen is that there was some ghost or demon, they were thinking, or some malevolent influence that make that happen. So Nanda Maharaj thinks like that because he's already aware that or in guard, or say alert, that these things, are coming to Vrindavan. And that's what Vasudeva was able to see. So, some malevolent force. But the fact is that the children saw what would happen, the little children, and they say, no. That was not some malevolent force that destroyed this car. That was little baby Krishna, we saw it. He kicked the wheel with his little leg, and the whole thing went explode. So obviously, the Gopas and the Gopis say, children, not baby can, what is this? Not even a big animal can do that, or strong person, so dismiss it. So Prabhupada explains that this is a result, all this is because of Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya won't allow the inhabitants of Vrindavan to understand, even when they witness themselves, they still get immediately covered. Like they witness Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, and they still were trying to rationalize it. Krishna, somehow they get covered. So this is what Yoga Maya does. Yoga Maya covers the understanding of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, so they can be freely loving Krishna as their child, and no awe and reverence becomes mixed with that type of in their relationship. The other point that Prabhupada makes is from Krishna's perspective. So from Krishna's perspective, the action is just a very simple thing. And just as we've been talking and we've been hearing throughout all this narration, is Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead with all his powers and all his potencies. And those are manifested regardless of the form that he has and possesses or manifests. So in the form of a baby, he is the same powerful personality. So for him, this is nothing. And he could have done that with any part of his body. So Prabhupada quoted the verse from the Brahma Samhita. What is it? Let's go. Angani Yasha Shakalendriya Vriti Manti. Angani, that any one of his limbs, any one of his senses, any part of his body can do the function of the other. So any part of his body is fully independently empowered to do everything, which is like, it's quite amazing. So that's why the Lord can eat with his sight. So when we offer boga to the Lord, he can actually taste with his sight and consume and digest and the whole thing. So any part of his body is independently, fully potent. So the Lord can create, can maintain, or can destroy anything with any single part of his body. So the destroying and the killing of this demon was no problem. Nothing big. But the remarkable part that Prabhupada highlights is part of Krishna's nature. That is this Ananda Chimoja, Rasha Vigraha. That his form is a form of Ananda Chimaya, which is that he is a form that fully enjoys, that is simply of enjoying. So everything that he does is he is a pastime. He enjoys that. So that's why he called it a pastime. So anything that Krishna does is his pastime. Pastime, when we talk about pastime, is when you do something for your enjoyment. You know, that you do for relaxing, for entertaining, like that. So Krishna's activities are his pastimes, his lila. So everything he does, he enjoys. So when he's actually fighting an enemy, killing a demon, you know, in general, when you think about that you have to fight someone, that's not something that you do as a pastime or enjoy. I mean, there may be some crazy people who enjoy fighting, you know, like one of those bullies or something. But in general, it's not enjoyment. It's just they're so messed up in their heads and emotions that, you know, it's just another extension of the suffering. But for Krishna, it's different. Krishna, he enjoys that. He enjoys fighting, and he enjoys this, you know, kicking that car, making it explode, you know, on the top of him. and then killing the ghost demon that was there. So he enjoys that. And although it could be something extremely dangerous, from the outside, Krishna is in complete control. So he is perfectly safe, happy, and enjoying. So that's another very important point to understand. That is, even when Krishna displays this pastime of tremendous anger, like Lord Nrsingadev, such an intensity and level of anger that, no one in the universe has seen something like that. Like supreme anger. Usually when we talk about anger, it's such a negative emotion that people just, you don't want to be even close to it. You don't want to experience it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to be involved. You want, to just, you see someone crazily angry, you just, okay, leave that crazy people alone, and then, just walk away. And then there's Lord Nrsingadev, manifestation of Lord Vishnu that displays the supreme anger. Nothing even comes close to that. To the point that even Lakshmi Devi couldn't even recognize him. Never seen something like that. But from Krishna's perspective, he's just enjoying. So how we understand this thing is impossible to understand. But he's enjoying. It's his pastime. It was understood by Jai and Vijay. It was understood, it was Lord Vishnu's desire. He likes to fight. Lord Vishnu. He would like, he have this chivalrous. Yes, I always have a hard time pronouncing that one. But he have that sort of mood, So who can fight him? The devotees fulfill the desire? The devotees take pleasure in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. So the Lord, if he desires to fight, then the devotees say, yes, my Lord, we'll fight you for your pleasure. For your pleasure. So he takes pleasure on that. So the devotees, the arrangement was made by Krishna and facilitated by his devotees. Circumstantially, the whole thing happens, and they understood. They become demons, the biggest, most dangerous enemies of Lord Vishnu, to fight him. And then, then these demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, were taken care by the Lord in these epic fightings. With Hiranyaksha, it took like some huge amount of time of fighting this powerful demon. The Lord in the form of a boar, fighting, and the demigods, watching at the spectacle. And then sometimes, the Lord, it looks like the demon had the upper hand, because the Lord was sort of like not, apparently it taking too much time. The narration always say that the Lord was always like, like swift, it was like, I don't know, Muhammad Ali, just like swim, like doing his dancing and doing this type of thing, and the other fighter trying to swing here and there, and throwing this, and and meanwhile the Lord is just having a great time. But the demigods, getting nervous because time is passing, and the demon is getting more anger, and then as the certain periods of time become more powerful, and this and that. And sometimes, the demon will hit, and then the Lord will lose his mace. So it was all this drama. Meanwhile, Lord Vishnu's enjoying like anything from his perspective. Nice fight. Finally, he just, okay, take care of this demon. Touching with his hoof, right, hit it in the head or something like that. And the guy just like went, and then, blood and die. And then with Hiranyakashipu, it was more like, this display of anger, but that he manifested as Lord Nrsimhadev. And not only killed Hiranyakashipu, but he killed all Hiranyakashipu's powerful demon army, just decimated. I don't know if you ever seen the depiction of the artist of Lord Nrsimhadev, like with thousands of arms, all with weapons in hand, just chopping demons. It was very gory. the whole thing. So it's very difficult for people to understand. So, usually when people see that picture of Lord Nrsimhadev, like tearing, a person apart and pulling out all the insides, and there's blood, and there's all like guts and things, like all over the place. And, so what is this exactly? I said, that's the Supreme Lord enjoying, his pastimes. Difficult to understand, but the fact is that the Lord always enjoying, and that's something we have to understand. And then Prabhupada explains that those who are pure-hearted, they also are on the same platform of Ananda Chimaya Vigraha. That they also relish and enjoy just hearing about Krishna's pastime. They act in the same spiritual platform of enjoyment, of happiness, of transcendental enjoyment and happiness. Just to actually being in contact and hear about Krishna's pastimes. So that's why in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the Srila Vyasadeva says that this narration of the Bhagavatam is relishable to those who are satam, or the devotees, pure in heart. Nidmat saranam satam. Dharma prajita kaita bo tra paramo nirmat saranam satam. That those who are pure-hearted devotees, for them this is very relishable, very relishable. It gives them happiness. He also tells us, that for us, how can we get to that platform? Was part of the answers as Srila Sutta Goswami. How can we get to the platform of relishing and tasting, getting a taste for relishing Krishna's pastimes? Vasudeva Kata Ruchi. That we get a taste to hear the presence of the Lord. So the key is given by Srila Sutta Goswami, Srushusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi. That this Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vices. So by serving those who are relishing, those who are in that platform of Ananda Chimo Yabyagraha, who have reached, who have regained that platform, who have manifested that relishable, pure-hearted devotees, by serving them, then we gain affinity for hearing the messages or the pastimes of the Lord. So there lies the secret. So we have the great fortune that we've been engaged in the service of Srila Prabhupada and serving those who are serving the servitors of Srila Prabhupada to assist in Prabhupada's mission. So by doing that, under the guidance of those who are fully committed and devoted to Srila Prabhupada, then naturally we're going to get there. The Bhagavatam breaks it down. You know, they give Prabhupada gives the whole breakdown. So you serve the devotees till you gain affinity. And here in the message of Vasudev, then he says, Sri Krishna, the personality of God, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who have developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Srimbatan Swakata Krishna verse, Punyan Shravanam Kirtanam, Ridunoti Habadrani, Vidunoti Shuhit Satam. And then, so serve those who are pure-hearted devotees who are relishing the messages and the pastimes of Krishna. We serve them, and by that we gain affinity. When Krishna sees that we actually gain an affinity from within the heart, he cleanses the heart. He cleanses the heart from the unwanted things. And then he tells Srila Sutta Goswami, by regular attendance in classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So the affinity, we gain the affinity, and we see how, you know, we actually liked very much to hear. Like, who doesn't like here to, you know, to come to the Bhagavatam? I mean, you see, like say for example, it gives some praise to Jai Baladev Prabhu. A guy walks from Evanston to the temple every day in the morning just to come to Bhagavatam class. So that tells something, you know. So we all do. We all, you know, why we do that? Why taking that trouble? Well, because somehow or other we're developing this, you know, this attraction to hear the messages of the Bhagavatam. So what is it? Srimbatan, no, Nashta Praesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So this seva of hearing the Bhagavatam, but also that have to be along with rendering service to the devotees, rendering service to the pure devotees. So the Bhagavatam, it is described as the book Bhagavatam and the person's Bhagavatam. So the seva have to be like that. And then completely destroyed, almost completely destroyed, because there's more to go. The narration goes, as soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, remember Krishna almost destroy all the unwanted things, nasta praeshu abhadreshu, from the heart, and then loving service unto the personality of Godhead becomes established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and becomes completely happy. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The change of fruitive action is terminated when one sees the self as master. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists has been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self, etc., etc. So, that's how we reawaken our natural constitutional position, the form of Ananda Chimaya, which is a form of transcendental enjoyment, transcendental happiness, and relishing that transcendental happiness, just like the Lord. Any comments or questions? Yes. The microphone is right there.
Thanks for the class, Subal. When Krishna killed Utana and later the serpent Kaliya, they go to heavenly planets because Krishna forgave them. But here doesn't mention that they were pardoned or they have the grace of being killed by Krishna. It's not mentioned. Is there any particular situation why this sort of preference between some demons that get pardoned and other ones that don't?
Well, it looks, with Kaliya he didn't kill. He chastised Kaliya and then ordered Kaliya to go to some other place. With Putana she did service. She actually, offered her milk. So she got chastised and killed, and with her killing she became purified by Krishna's touching or accepting her offering. Shakatashura, it doesn't say, but what we understand is that most of the demons that he kills he gave liberation into the Brahma and the Fojin. And the example that some of the example has been narrated, like say Agasura, that everybody saw the soul, or the the spark of the soul hovering in the sky, and then whoosh, going into Krishna's lotus feet. Everybody who was there, the demigods, everybody witnessed that. So in my limited understanding is that the difference is in terms of Putana is that she did service. The other ones there, they didn't do no service. They were just trying to kill him. So that's what makes that difference.
Sakatasura was a cart serving.
Yeah, well, no, was not doing something specifically to Krishna. Well, maybe sheltering from the sun or something like that, but yeah, that don't know.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Kevin, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. I was going to say that I liked when you were describing the differences between somebody enjoying fighting, like Krishna on the transcendental platform, he can enjoy fighting, but somebody in the material world, if they try to enjoy fighting, like more than likely they're probably a crazy person. So as you were describing that, I was getting these flashbacks of watching these UFC fighting programs and stuff. Like I used to be a fan like years ago, and would see these conferences where these guys would be like meeting with each other like before they would have a big fight, and they'd be like looking at each other like all crazy. Like some guys would be in this mood of like, yeah, I'm so famous, like I'm undefeated, like I'm ready to fight anybody, and they'd have this like really vicious like mood like inside them, and like totally crazy people, like just totally vicious. And I remember people in high school too, like guys who were bad kind of guys and get in trouble, and they'd be like always ready to brawl like people, and
Yeah.
they just have this crazy mentality like who the heck are you guys, like why are you like total barbarians or animals or something. So
For those of you who don't know, the UFC is this fighting, sport that they is not boxing. It's actually even more vicious. It's like a street fight, make it into a sport, type of thing. So they kick, they elbow, they whatever it is, and they put these two persons just to like a street fighters. It's very vicious. And it's very popular. Right now it's big time, no? And you may think, some of them really they enjoy it. It's like they look forward, but they're maniacs. It's crazy. No one is enjoying that. And in general, at one point they get beaten and they become miserable. It's like the whole persona gets destroyed just by when they get beaten. I remember coming in contact with just checking on that, because when I was working, also was surrounded by people who were like really into the thing. So I get exposed. So there was this woman who was, like a good-looking woman, but she's scary because she was like this build-up, woman. She was a super champion, undefeated, and she's always bragging and like mean. And then she's fighting this other one, and the other woman just beat her very bad. You know this when I'm talking?
it was like Ronda
Huh?
Rousey.
What's her name?
Ronda Rousey.
Yes, that one. Yes. So she got beaten. She got beaten very badly, and then deflated. then now, no one hears about, the woman is not famous anymore. Who knows what happened to her, and things like that. Something like that. It happens to all this. Say that Mike Tyson guy, he was the most feared one, like boxer. And then he got defeated very badly that, he got so humiliated that, he ended, chopping the ear of that guy who was beating her. He became so disgraced that he ended in jail, people hating him, like that. So these are crazy people that in reality, like, is a total contrary opposite thing of Krishna. Krishna looks like he's like fighting, he's angry, but he's enjoying. These people look like they're enjoying, but they're suffering like anything. So it's the opposite. Yes, Karunanidhi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you for the class. Just for clarification, you were saying that, for example, Putana was given complete liberation because she had done service giving them milk like this. And that the other demons who were killed, they were just trying to take Krishna out, and that he took them, returned them to Brahmajyoti, to where they're going to fall down, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not, when they get impersonal liberation, it's not that everybody who takes, that's my understanding, also is limited. Don't take me 100%. But as far as I understand, it's not that all the living entities that enter into the Brahmajyoti falls down. That's what I understand. But I'm not 100%.
Okay, yeah, I was watching a lecture, and then one of the Prabhus had said, he says, so well, what's the benefit if you're going to go to Brahmajyoti and possibly fall down?
Yeah.
And then the response was, at least you didn't go to hell. So this is better that you're still,
they
you're not
touch,
going to have
once they touch by Krishna, they become purified. So that's why they obtain liberation. Imagine being, touched by Krishna. Then you just, Krishna face to face, just like knocking you out, the touch is the same, it's absolute, it's perfectly purifying.
Sorry, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, in this verse, we can see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that unless one is transcendentally situated, he cannot enjoy the activities of Krishna. Then here is a very nice verse is there in first canto, that is Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogita. That in that verse it is stated, unless one comes in contact with devotional service, then he cannot get the, mode of goodness. So ultimately that means we have to attach with devotional service.
Yes.
Then only we can get the mode of goodness.
Of that one.
Then only we can enjoy transcendental activities of the Lord.
Yes.
So one more question here to discuss. See how interestingly it is mentioned that Gopakumars, means children, they could know the transcendental activities of Krishna, whereas all other, they could not know how it happened. They thought it is ghost, something haunted, something. So we can, that means how Jogamaya could not act upon Gopakumars. That means on children. So what is your...
I couldn't follow perfectly. So that the children...
They could know, whereas others they could not know.
Yeah, well, the children witnessed. They saw the whole thing. And they were saying, no, it was Krishna kick.
Yeah, that's
Krishna kick, how is that possible? It's a baby.
That is, Jogamaya could not act upon them. So maybe I am thinking because maybe they are associates of Krishna, they have taken birth from the Golok. So they want to enjoy the transcendental activities.
Yeah, all these babies, I mean, you assume that they became later, they were part of the whole, Gopas of Vrindavan that will go with Krishna. I mean, there were all kinds. There were the little ones that were a little older, the ones that were same age, and the ones that were younger. So they will go all with Krishna. And so they have the special arrangement that they were able to witness Krishna killing all these demons. So they always will come, oh wow, Krishna did this, and then the parents will be like, something happened, but they couldn't. They will always cover like that. But yeah, the Gopas were able to all the time witness Krishna doing all these things. The only thing that Krishna didn't want to witness was him eating the fire. Remember that one? That he said, close your eyes. And then he ate the fire. And it was because Krishna was thinking, I got chastised already from eating dirt, what to speak, if I'm eating fire. So, anything else? Yes, Jai Baladev Prabhu.
See my notes. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for your class. Forgive me, my notes are I'm not a good speaker and my notes are kind of everywhere, but you were mentioning that Krishna enjoys fighting. And I would say, who wouldn't enjoy fighting if they know they're going to win every time, go undefeated?
Yes.
So Krishna is always smiling, like I was saying yesterday, because he's a supreme controller. And unfortunately, if our happiness comes from being a supreme controller, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment, no matter how great we are or how great we think we are. And you were mentioning Nrsingadeva and Hiranyakashipu, so I kind of like to mention that pastime too regarding some points. Hiranyakashipu, his happiness tried to come from being a supreme controller. Basically, we see that there's many good qualities like determination, but we see in the scriptures that there are two types of determination: demoniac determination and divine determination. Hiranyakashipu was obviously demoniac. He was determined. He was a demon who was, determined with low character. Basically, he tried to defeat Prahlad, not once, not twice, not three. I don't know how many times he tried, but he still didn't get the point. And Prahlad, he was also determined too. Hiranyakashipu was determined to defeat his enemies on the outside, and Prahlad was determined to defeat his enemies on the inside. And that's why he was so happy. So my last point is kind of related to that point. Actually, I have two other points. One observation, this is a good observation that you reminded me of, is that when in the material world, when one politician defeats another politician, he's honored. When another boxer beats another boxer, he's honored. When one basketball team or sports team beat another sports team, they're honored. So many things where we see these competitions, they're honored. But we never see somebody honored for defeating their enemies on the inside. No, if somebody came up to us and said, I haven't watched pornography for a week, can I get a medal? Nobody will honor you for that. But Krishna will honor you for that. Shrimbatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana. Or if somebody says, I actually forgave somebody today and tolerated them, nobody's going to honor you for that. But Krishna, you get more benefits for defeating your enemies on the outside than defeating your enemies. So one last point I would like to make is that we see that Hiranyakashipu, he asked Prahlad, what is the most important thing you've learned? And of course, Prahlad says, what was that verse? Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam padasevanam. The most important thing is hearing and chatting about Vishnu. And Hiranyakashipu was like, how is that possible? You should hear and chant about me. So that's the tendency that when we disagree with somebody, Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to excommunicate his enemies, either Prahlad for glorifying Vishnu, or he excommunicated Vishnu. But we see that that even though Hiranyakashipu is kind of like us, the tendency is that when we disagree with somebody, we consider someone our enemy, we want to excommunicate them either from the planet or from our presence. But we see that this tendency to defeat his enemies on the outside was useless because when Prahlad glorified Vishnu, that still brought him unhappy. The lesson I learned from this is that it's useless to excommunicate our enemies on the outside if we're still unhappy because we didn't excommunicate our enemies on the inside due to envy. Martin Luther King says, nobody isn't happy about praise, even when they know they don't deserve it, even when they don't believe it. The only people who aren't happy about praise is when that praise is going too much towards somebody else. So what are some steps we can move forward to excommunicate the enemies on the inside, which is called anartha-nibriti, because we see that it's a waste of time, to defeat our outer enemies if it brings us a great unhappiness when our friends glorify our enemies. So when our friends glorify our enemies, then what do we say? If you're friends with my enemy, then you're also my enemy. And this cycle keeps continuing and continuing. So what are some steps we could do to the real excommunication?
Yeah, I think I tried to cover that during, the class when I quoted the Sutta Goswami's instruction, the Shushusho Shadananasya verse, and so on, just give us the directions of how we can get to the point to be situated in this Ananda Chimaya Rasa Vigraha type of position. So we have to start by gaining an affection, an affinity for hearing. And we do that by serving devotees. Especially serving those devotees who are pure-hearted. But the understanding is that, I serve the pure-hearted devotees and then I start to look around, not pure-hearted, this one also, definitely not. That one, that one, definitely not. So I don't serve the community of devotees, I only serve those who I think or I understand they're advanced and pure. But that's not the principle. The principle is that, serving Prabhupada means serving Prabhupada's followers, Prabhupada's devotees. So we serve the devotees. We start with that. By serving, we gain the affinity. When Krishna sees the affinity, then he starts to cleanse our heart from within. And then give us the process of serving both the Bhagavatam, the book Bhagavatam, and the person's Bhagavatam. And that's how the process of purification and happiness start to take place. So, we have our emphasis, if we are still in a platform of being conditioned, is service. Service to the process of hearing and chanting, and service to the devotees, like simultaneously. All right. Thank you so much. Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.